GM, everybody.
What's good?
Not $300 a yap for everyone, huh? Like everyone expected, getting rich in the.
Oh, it was $100 a yap. That was going to be it, right? So your 9,000 yaps would be, you'd be retired on your island. What did it turn out? It turned out to be not bad though. What, like $15 a yap?
It was about 15 to 20 a yap, which actually I thought pretty good. I mean, for something literally all you have to do is connect your Twitter account to do nothing else. No financial cost to it, like most farming things that exist. I thought pretty good overall. And I'm still holding. I woke up at 4 a.m. to claim the shit because you never know.
You did. You got up early, huh? You
never know what goes on with these things. Like they break, they get hacked, they get nuked, the shit pumps immediately for like an hour and then just goes straight to zero. I kind of woke up and monitored it. It came out actually pretty big, $1.2 billion FDV. We'll dive into a little bit more of the details. They released the tokenomics an hour before the airdrop or the claim period open, which I actually tweeted last night. So that's probably what's going to happen. Of course, they probably did that so that degens, maybe they trade based off of their emotions rather than, some logic, because of course, no one's ever going to be happy with the allocation. You give them too much, or you give them too little. And as we know, right, we've talked about this with Emblem and our airdrops and stuff. They're never happy. If they want more, they sell it all. They don't give enough, they sell it all. It literally doesn't
There is
matter.
no winning. I honestly, we need something new in crypto. There's like the airdrop thing is just like, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really work. It's like, it kind of, yeah. New mechanics are needed. Like somebody needs to, get creative and do something really creative, I think, to kind of move on to like whatever the next thing is. I mean, this doesn't really work so great anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats to all the yappers. Yappers up. How many yappers were rewarded in the airdrop?
So here, let's open up some charts here. I'll show you. So I found this nice little Dune dashboard that somebody created. So it's 100 million token allocation. So yappers and NFT holders got 10%. I think it was split. I think it was like 8 or 9% to the yappers, and then about 1% to the NFT holders. NFT holders, it was 1,500 NFT holders. They sold at 0.1 ETH each. Those things, dude, whoever bought those at the top at 11 ETH, definitely down like 15 grand on what the payout is. It came out to about 700 or 800 yaps per NFT. But so, I mean, if you purchase those at 0.1, like you did really well at that point. So they came out to,
the play was to sell them though at 11 ETH though, right?
It's, yeah, pretty high. So looking at it, things have tailed off pretty hard. You could see here. So it opened up it was 7 a.m. Eastern time. You had this really big ramp up of about 17 million that were 17 million. So 17% was claimed within the first hour. And now it's up to about 25% in the next 4 hours following. So 50,000 wallets have claimed, 25% total. And there are currently 30,000 holders. The price came out, you could see, came out at $1.27, so $1.27 billion, and then rode up to the very pico top, 1.6 billion FDV. And now it's hanging out at 95 cents, so about 1 billion. I'm actually pleasantly surprised where this is. Again, I'm still holding. I had a number personally where I was like, okay, if it passes this USD value, then I'll probably just sell the majority of it. It didn't reach that. So I was like, we'll see. And then as it was kind of going down, I was like, well, if this goes to zero, then I'll definitely just stake it, because okay, what else do you have to do at that point?
Yeah.
And it really just bottomed out around 1 billion market cap or so. The Coinbase has not announced the listing yet. We do have Jesse Pollock, who's the guy who runs Base, running around telling people to play long-term games with long-term builders. So you suspect a Coinbase listing may become in the future. There is a staking mechanic to this, which I think caught a lot of people off guard as well. So if you go to this dashboard, there's almost 2 million KAITO staked. So like about 8% of the total KAITO that's been claimed so far has been staked. So not a large turnout, but honestly, when it comes to airdrops, right, you expect 9 to 10 people to sell. No, unfortunately, you probably want, you'd like to get that to 20, 30, 40%, but generally not the case when you're handing out free money like this. So if you're a staker, you have to stake 75% of the total amount that you were initially airdropped to receive this badge that's called the holder badge. And if you stake your KAITO, then it says you get rewards and additional voting power on the governance. It's interesting here is the voting power is what like gets those dashboards for these different communities. You can get paid for voting power. So I've been paid once, actually, $1 per yap. So I've been paid 1,000 once, and apparently there's another one that's in line to get paid. And they just added like 30 new dashboards to this. So there's like some inter-economic activity that could potentially be held here. And then also you just wonder, what's the rewards? Is it just rewarding you with more tokens, right? Like that works sometimes. I saw like Magic Eden recently. They rewarded all their stakers with all the unclaimed ME, and most people got like 4 or 5 times what they initially were airdropped. So, you know, if like I saw somebody who staked 10K worth of Magic Eden, they got airdropped $50,000 worth of Magic Eden tokens.
Wow.
Like a week or two ago. So, you know, maybe that's a situation you wonder, you know, how much will actually be claimed, because we know none of it's always claimed. Looks like the biggest airdrop that's been claimed so far is 559,000 KAITO. So, assuming
we look on the dashboard and see who that is. Who had 5? I mean, geez, boy, that's crazy.
Already, so I'll pull up another tweet here. One thing that I saw is they actually did not pay AI XBT. They decided against it.
Really?
He did not get the airdrop. They said
dude, that's fucking wrong, dude.
They said that he only gets the governance voting rights, but they did said that they will put it to a vote.
That was like that was like their number one advertisement, dude.
That's
yeah. I thought it was kind of fucked, to be honest, too.
Wow.
I've actually put that in a tweet that I thought that was a losing strategy, especially for a company that has AI in its Twitter handle.
That was one of the most interesting parts of the whole experiment.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
It will be put to a vote. I guarantee you the voters will probably overturn that. So looking at the supply metrics, the team allocation, I think, is like double what was initially thought of. This always I always love these supply charts or team allocation where they just mask the word team like 4 or 5 different times. Like 25% to core contributors. Then you have 7.5%, or no, 25% to core contributors, 8.5% to early backers, 10% to the foundation. That's like all the same thing.
Team.
Like it's all the same stuff. 32% to ecosystem and network growth. That could also be the team, right? Like community growth fund could also be the team. So 10% to the community, and it seems like everything else is going to.
What's Binance holder?
They did to get the Binance listing, they did a Binance staking program where they give 2% to Binance, and these people who stake will get the airdrop itself. So much larger team allocation, much smaller community allocation. Maybe that actually is what saves the chart from just getting absolutely nuked, to be honest. It's quite possible. If you go into, you can see this is kind of the vesting schedule. So no unlocks until August. So it's about 6 months from today. If you go into the tokenomics chart, I think it's all the way down here at the very bottom. Considerations for AI agents allocation. It's obviously AI XBT. AI agents allocation will be reserved for governance voting after the claim period of 30 days. The KAITO community has previously expressed differing views on this matter, so we'd like to put it to a vote. This approach ensures that the allocation aligns with the broader goals of the KAITO ecosystem. Governance will determine whether or how these funds will be distributed. I support it, man. I will vote in favor. I'll probably end up staking this. I mean, what it looks like here is the claim period's 30 days. So 30 days from now, we'll see how many people claim. What are they going to do with the unclaimed tokens, right? It could be anywhere from 1 to 5% maybe of the total supply. Do they just airdrop these back to everybody else? Do they burn it? You know, what happens? I do have this suspicion that the Coinbase listing will probably come after the claim period, because they keep saying long-term stuff, and maybe after the fiasco of Venice, where they listed that on day one, they don't want another chart that just literally goes straight up and just straight down afterwards. Actually, the Venice chart is kind of crazy because it goes straight up, and like where it is now is actually like 30 or 40% lower from that initial starting point. So it's literally just straight to hell.
Yeah. It's really interesting. That's really surprising, the AI XBT thing. And I get it from a standpoint of like, look, we're probably all going to be overrun by bots. You know, bots are going to dominate social media to a large extent, most likely. But boy, that just seems unfair. I mean, I'm looking at the chart. You know, AI XBT had like 21,000 yaps, and the number two, I don't know, that dude Mert or whatever. Mert may have like a team of people helping him tweet and stuff, right? I mean, what's the difference? Like, I don't get. I really don't get it. It's like there's a team of people working on AI XBT, you know, to just take away that. It just seems like there's better strategies to take away AI agents who kind of are just like reply guys or, you know, just low effort or whatever. But yeah, it just seems kind of wrong there. And if I was on that team, I would be fucking furious, dude. I would be fucking furious, dude.
So we could see here, so AI XPT, almost to 1,000 as well. AI XPT's totally out to 21,000. Mert was 19,000, and then Ansem third at 14,000. So Mert absolutely dominating it for the humans, 25% higher than Ansem did. We'll see what happens with AI XPT. I mean, granted, he's tweeting, I think it's like 1,000 times per day. So there is this idea of like, right, it's just doing astronomical levels of engagement and yapping that a human really can't do. I thought it was just a cool showcase of seeing what's possible here, and also that the AI didn't have to do any type of on-chain transactions.
Maybe I'm in the dark here, but what is an AI agent going to do with governance voting?
Right. Exactly.
Also true.
Yep.
Like, why did they decide to even give him that?
Yep.
I don't know if he's going to be participating in the governance.
Yeah. I don't know.
And then what happens when the AI agents dominate the government? And if they're including the AI agents, then it's like you've given up control to the fucking robots. I mean, I don't know. It just seems low. But this is cool. We get to actually figure this stuff out about how we want to move forward with these agents, because, you know, it's obviously a thing.
Yeah. I wanted to see my boy get some tokens. That's frustrating.
It is a little frustrating. The one interesting thing here in terms of the airdrop, they did do a few things. I actually suspected they were going to do one of these, which was the alignment reward, where they said that they're maintaining a merit-based system to ensure fairness and equity, but they distributed KAITO to people who are most aligned with the community. So I'm assuming if you were bull or bear posting or fudding, then your allocation was not as high potentially as what others got. So I did see, so at my snapshot, I had 950 yaps. It came out to about 12,000 tokens, KAITO almost. So I got about 12 KAITO per yap. I did see some people got much lower. I saw some people had like 8 KAITO per yap, and I saw upwards of 18 KAITO per yap. They did have a few other things that they weighted in this in terms of, did you engage with their governance, like the voting mechanism? How loyal have you been to the company? I didn't realize KAITO's been around for 3 years. Did you know that? I had no idea it's been around for 3 years.
No idea. Although I've heard, I was telling Jake offline that I've heard that it's a great product, but it's crazy expensive. Like to track social media influencers and stuff. I guess you can get really granular about, I mean, if you're in the business of, I don't know, paying for KOLs or who you're going to partner with in the industry, if you want to know who's talking about, you know, Ethereum, theirs is like the top shelf, like figure out who the important people in the space are. Supposedly it's a great dashboard. Yeah,
I agree as well. So I personally think I'm just going to stake it and say, fuck it. I know Dogfather did. He's tweeting about it.
Diamond hands.
At this point, it's like, it's at $1. You know, how much lower can it go? You know, maybe it goes another 20% down potentially. I think seeing 25% people claim in the first 4 hours means it's probably the majority of people have already claimed. There's probably going to be a lot that's not claimed. And there's only 8% of people who are staking. To me, it seems like maybe there's a pretty large risk reward ratio there. And I don't know, I kind of enjoyed yapping. Like, that's just something that I do in general. So it actually encouraged me to post more original content and less kind of quote tweets and stuff like that. So it kind of just made me just do more of what my job already was. So maybe I'll, punt this for 30 days
buy
and see
more,
what happens.
dude. Buy more. Fucking stake their full bag, bro, and then go all in. Just become like, we'll hook up Hustle, and you just tweet the shit out of your fucking account, man.
Yeah, we actually gotta see what Hustle's claim was. I forgot that we even
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So
if
there's a buy and sell leaderboard as well. I didn't notice that, so I just pinned it up to the jumbotron. But it looks like they're keeping track of everyone who buys and sells, which is kind of interesting too. So you have that.
This was off of Nansen.
Ah, gotcha.
It was actually funny. So Alex, who's the thing you pinned, he's the creator of Nansen. He actually was like one of the largest sellers. So he got outed by himself.
That's
ICO Beast is the top. Just dumping it, sell it all, bro.
One thing that I realized through just participating in this ecosystem, there is a lot. There are so many other ecosystems out there that I'm just so siloed from, like because of yapping and people talking about yaps, like it comes out more in your feed, and the people in the Polygon ecosystem were starting to come up in my feed. That's how I found ICO Beast actually, and a few of these other accounts. And there's so many just siloed ecosystems. So it's actually made me a little bit more aware that there's a lot of stuff out there outside of the outside of our little bubble, and that maybe it just encourages me to participate in a little bit of that more. So we'll see what happens, but likely going to stake here unless this thing mega pumps like 300% the next hour, which I don't think is going to happen.
So if that guy claimed, what he claimed, 100 in ICO Beast, 130,000. How much is that? How much is that airdrop?
Just think of it as $1. It's like the easiest way.
Wow.
$1 per. Yeah, I saw like Bread Guy sold like 66% and staked 33%. He actually said he was decentralizing ownership. I thought that was a funny way of saying selling. The one thing that I think they really screwed themselves with is, in order to get this badge or whatever, you have to stake 75% to be a part of this rewards. You basically negate any type of whale of doing that. Like if I only had 100 yaps, or if I had like 1,000 KAITO, means I only have to stake $750, whereas somebody who claimed 50,000 KAITO, it's like you have to stake $30,000 to do that. Like most of these whales are just not going to do that. So you're kind of, I guess it's a way to force sell them, right? You just get all the Jeets out in the beginning. Is a way to kind of capture that. But I'm looking at the stats now. So if I stake everything, then I would be the number 26 staker in terms of staking size. So
do it.
Yeah. Then it goes straight to zero, right?
Straight to zero, or you're rolling the dice. And supposedly this is a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows, man?
We'll see what happens.
When was the last successful one that kind of was able to pull something like this off? Like not to say this can't be the kind of the leader, and maybe it is, but I'm wondering how the tokens are going to accrue value going forward. How's that going to work? And you might have the right thing. It's like, oh, well, teams are going to pay basically to get your votes, right? And that sort of thing. Maybe that might work.
Could work. We'll see what happens.
Is it just continued? Do you continue to yap even though there isn't a secondary airdrop?
There is a secondary airdrop.
There is. Okay.
Yeah.
How much percentage is that? Does it say what the second airdrop will be? Percentage?
Yeah. So long term. So they have here liquidity incentives is the allocation is designed to incentivize both staking activity and liquidity provision is 5%. And then they also have long-term creator incentives at 7.5%. Creators from the backbone of the attention economy, and this allocation designed to foster sustained high-quality content creation while attracting new creators to the network over time. By rewarding those who spark meaningful conversations, we aim to support the creator community and reinforce the value of truly impactful contributions. So what it sounds like is 5% is going to go to staking. Who knows what they're going to do with the unstaked? And then second season, potentially 7.5%.
So you just continue yapping.
Yeah.
That's it. All right.
More apps. It does say on here that they want to expand outside of Twitter too. So I don't know. And they want to expand outside of crypto. So I don't know exactly what that means, but that is a goal. One of the other major things that I saw this morning is that crime is now illegal. I don't know if you saw this, but the SEC announced today an emerging technologies unit to protect retail investors. And right there in plain English, it says the use of social media, the dark web, or false websites perpetuate fraud. And also fraud involving blockchain technology and crypto assets. And even above that, it says fraud committed using AI and machine learning, which a lot of people do. Do you think that this is ironic or a coincidence that they post this literally 2 days or a week after the whole Argentinian fiasco?
I just don't even think you don't even need it, dude. It's like, it's always been illegal to, commit fraud. I mean, it's in the same way it's illegal to steal. Like, you don't need new laws for this. You just need to prosecute people who are doing it. That's it. Yeah, I don't think we need special task force and bullshit, but it is what it is. It's like, it's not only illegal, it's doubly illegal. No shit. Fraud's illegal. And if you use the tools of fucking crypto, it's illegal as well. It doesn't make, this is not new news.
I mean, this is just signal that there was international presidents implicated in this, and you're going to be prosecuted immediately. Like, this case is going to get brought up immediately. That's what I take from it.
So it says here that it's called the CETU. So remember that. You'll probably see that acronym pop up a lot. The crypto or the CETU replaces the crypto assets and cyber unit, is comprised of approximately 30 fraud specialists and attorneys across multiple SEC offices. So specifically, the CETU will utilize the staff's substantial fintech and cyber-related experience to combat misconduct as it related to securities transactions in the following primary priority areas. It does say securities, though. David Sachs has said that meme coins are collectibles. Maybe he's kind of protecting the president on that one by categorizing them in the non-SEC. You think even, Chris, what do you think? Even if it just says securities, you think these people are going to be prosecuted from like Hayden Adams and some of these sniping type entities?
I mean, I think that it's just about like the actions, like the asset could be a collectible, but that doesn't mean that you can kind of like inside trade it and maybe scam kind of different individuals in different kind of ways using different types of technology. I thought it was interesting. They labeled NFTs as collectibles as well. So it changes the tax structure. It changes kind of the whole dynamic of everything within that region. So it's cool. I like the collectibles aspect. It is true. Bitcoin's a commodity. Ethereum's more of a commodity. A lot of these things are more of collectibles. And then you're going to have a lot more securities coming on board. So I think the distinction is pretty correct, actually.
Yeah, quite interesting. So we'll see what happens there. Something else that happened big yesterday that was all over the timeline is dog domination. The dog expansion to Solana happened and it got a lot of attention. Literally at 7 a.m, there was 1,000 people in this space learning about dog on Solana. Picked up about 2,500 new holders. The price pumped, and then arbitrage creators came in and put the price back to parity with where it is on Bitcoin. Crypto or Slingshot picked it up, Vector, and all of these kind of Solana-based fiat on-ramps or crypto applications, I guess you could say, or Web2 applications came in and picked it up. And DOG is officially underway. I haven't seen too much trading, or I haven't seen too many more holders. I will check the trading volume here in a second as we do move through this. But thoughts on DOG? Is this the right decision to expand to Solana and try to capture a new audience?
What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I want to see these coins everywhere. Sure. I mean, that's the whole thesis of our entire company. Buy anything, anywhere with anything. So as a distributor, as a retailer, it's not your job to determine or discriminate where the item should be purchased or what it should be purchased with. It's your job to provide, whatever you're selling to as many people as possible. And I think that this is a step in the right direction.
Totally. Yep.
Yes, sir, Bob. So let's see. Let's look at some of the stuff on the little good old deck
The
screen.
community is nuts. The dog community is on another level. I mean, the volumes are pretty strong every single day. The engagement's crazy. I mean, you love to see it.
Yeah. Did have a price increase. So it's at 2,462 holders. I got 141,000 in volume. I think it was up to over 1 million yesterday. There is a pretty nice website called runes.com that actually shows the amount of bridged assets. This is going to be something that I'm going to use to kind of be tracking some of this stuff. I didn't realize that. I saw this yesterday. Pups has almost 30% of its entire supply bridged over to Solana, which is kind of
I saw your
wild.
post yesterday. I thought that was a ton. I had no idea that it was that high.
Yeah, look at this. So Dog has 0.66% bridged, which is about $2 million. $1 billion Cat has about 4% for 650K. And then Pups World Peace, 28.43%, $10 million bridge. There's actually a few others over here as well that are kind of forgotten about. Cypher Genesis also has 4%, but these are kind of the main three. Dog, dude, just 0.66% for 2 million bridged.
That's surprising. It's so low, honestly. Still, I would thought a lot of people would have bridged over. I guess there was that like window of opportunity to catch that nice bump in the beginning, and then just people were like, I forget it now. It's the same.
You know, I was actually thinking about this, and also was talking with Graham yesterday about, I don't know if you guys saw or if people saw that Graham is closing down Bellscribe to go all in on Televault, which is the fungible token protocol on Emblem. He's going to use Emblem 2.0 vaults to create a much more frictionless experience. It'll be much more similar to just a traditional bridge. And I was thinking about this from like the Emblem perspective as well, is if you're somebody like Dog who wants to be on many chains versus Pups who just wants to be on Solana, like what's an adequate amount of supply to be bridged? And thinking about it, you know, a little bit more intricately, what I've noticed is when you start bridging assets, the volatility actually decreases. Maybe it's because it's unsophisticated arbitrage traders, or just maybe the ARB ecosystem hasn't been built out yet, but the volatility tends to decrease, but then on the other side, you get more liquidity and more users. So like for Dog's example, what do you think is like a sufficient amount of supply to be bridged over to Solana to create like an onboarding experience? It's very simple, but allows users to kind of trade the volatility on the Bitcoin side whenever that price increase does happen.
Yeah, man, I don't know, man. It's hard to say. I mean, we had some experience with Bells and that, but I don't know, man. And we did see it a bit where price would get crazy, but it was just this thing. It's like it's self-correcting, the market just eats it up immediately. If there's an ability to make money on it, people will eat it up. So I don't know if there's any magic number. It's just you just have to have enough there that it doesn't get wild if somebody wants to buy, 5K worth of it, that the price doesn't go up 20%. You just have to have enough that it doesn't do that.
Yeah, I think it just makes the markets more efficient. So I think it does dampen volatility. I think that's correct. It kind of segments the community a bit. Maybe on Bitcoin, they're a little bit more long-term focused. Maybe on Solana, they're a bit more trader focused. And so you get kind of dampened price movements as maybe there's more people kind of rushing to sell when the price pumps a little bit. But what you're hoping for is that the access to the token outweighs the actual intent to sell over there, right? You want to grow the community. That's kind of the number one thing that you're looking for. And I mean, there's so much pushback for this, but is the pushback worth less than that? A little bit over a 0.5% of the supply moving to a new chain.
Right.
I just feel like it's so unwarranted.
Totally.
And I think that even just like the publicity and the engagement and the content that they got out of this move is worth the 0.5% by itself. So I think the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. I think this is just totally going to be normalized going forward. And, the tribalism is going to start to dwindle down, week after week.
Especially once you have AI agents who are going to be moving the stuff back and forth. Like we even saw, maybe we'll move into this next, Wayfinder, which is the AI product by Prime, which is the gaming company. Started seeing some posts yesterday, and a lot of it is just surrounding bridging assets and just having it do it for you. And so I think tribalism just becomes completely eliminated once that's like a norm. Like these AI agents don't care about the religion aspect of it or the tribalistic aspect. They are just here to do one thing, right? Or they're here to do whatever they're commanded, to move something from price A to price B, or to optimize for this. And I could see these numbers increasing quite drastically, as Chris says. It becomes a lot more normalized because agents are just going to go wherever the best liquidity is. And if the best liquidity is, hey, I'm going to move, this dog token to Solana because there's a 2% higher price increase, or there's less of a price impact because of slippage, or whatever this kind of checklist is, they'll go to Solana or they'll move it to base. It just doesn't really matter. So that's why I'm excited for dog community to really do that. Obviously, it's great for Emblem as well, which is kind of just reinforces everything that we've really talked about. Yeah, the intelligence layer. Maybe that's something else to talk about. Adam and I were on a show right before this and just talking about overall sentiment in the industry and how it's just quite bad at this point in time.
I mean, it is like, it's literally like lower than the bear market lows, right? I mean, it feels like that to me on the timeline, but I may be siloed a little bit. I think that's probably true. You get in you start interacting with stuff and you get siloed on your own timeline. But yeah, it feels really, really bleak right now.
Yeah. In what I had said in that chat was, to me, it felt like this cycle, like I'm using the casino metaphor because I think it just describes kind of meme coin trading really well, is that, or just kind of overall crypto, is that it really felt like the gamblers and the players were running the casino this cycle, right? Basically the casino bent their knee to whatever they wanted. And even the investments went that way. And so last cycle was really focused on utility. It felt like, the managers were still kind of running the casino floor. And this time it was the fucking blackjack players and the craps players running the floor. And, now all those players have kind of lost their money. And, a few of the whales have kind of made off with it. Because obviously in the casino industry, most people lose to the house. And then those who are playing against each other, there's usually a few people who take the majority of it, right? Like the Pareto rule, where it's like 80% or 20% of the players are going to make 80% of the profits.
Yep.
I think that's kind of where we are today. And that's why sentiment's low. And also a lot of the things that were getting funded were attention-based kind of vehicles, right? Launch pads and things like that. And now that that's kind of fallen apart, or maybe that the cracks are glaringly obvious, my thoughts are maybe this next move isn't back as much to utility. Maybe it's more towards this intelligence kind of cycle, right? Because kind of the way that I'm looking at it is, in 2017, you had this like early kind of signs of utility, right? With ICOs and stuff. Or at least the white papers were kind of hinting towards utility of stuff, but it was really kind of focused around financialization with ICOs, which was something that had popped up the cycle before with Mastercoin in 2013. And then last cycle with NFTs, it was this social layer started popping up, this attention layer, but it was really focused on, hey, we're building utility and trying to do these type of token gated things and stuff like that. And then this cycle, it's attention is clearly what dominated. And now you're getting kind of these like early hints of this intelligence layer, right? With like Wayfinder and Hustle and Hanon and AI16Z and virtuals and all these other things, that maybe that's what's the center focused next cycle. And then, utility and attention and stuff, that just becomes kind of part of the norm, but it doesn't have as much of an impact in terms on the overall sentiment. Any thoughts there?
I think that I like your example of the casino and how, different customers come for different things, and you don't want the entire, we live in Las Vegas. We don't want the entire city to be a casino. It's an entertainment capital. It's a social capital. There's other kind of industries that are kind of growing up here, but you don't want the entire world to be a casino. You want it to be an offset of, one segment. And all of crypto became a casino for the last year. And it was pretty tough to watch because there is real stuff being built here. There is real technology. There is, ideals that are here and real believers and real kind of game changers that are happening within this industry. But it kind of got overshadowed by all of the speculation. And so it's just a revert to the mean, right? A mean reversion of getting back to some builders, getting back to kind of, like Adam says, believing in something and, showing that this industry is more than just a bunch of degenerate gamblers, like, rinsing themselves every morning on some different type of coins. But I like to think of meme coins as kind of the entertainment aspect of the industry. We have a financial aspect, like, we have a financial services aspect. We have a whole bunch of segments that aren't even totally invented or totally kind of concrete yet. They're still being discovered. So there's room for speculation, but the pendulum swung too far to speculation. Greed overtook everyone. And I'm kind of happy that I feel like we got cleansed. I feel like we got rinsed and cleansed. And the industry feels like it's in a better spot this week than it was this time last week.
Yeah, just the whole intelligence layer. Anytime I have to jump back on Ethereum, I'm reminded why we need Agent Hustle, bro. It's like, oh, I don't have gas. Wait, I've got all this, wrapped ETH in here. No, that's not right, man. You got to have ETH on base and blah, blah. I'm like, dude, oh, bro, give me back to Solana, man. It's like literally, dude, literally. I was just like, God damn it, man. It's just so shitty. And we're working on a solution. Like that's what Agent Hustle is going to do, man. And I'm just couldn't be more bullish on that, because anytime I have to do that or do something on Bitcoin or whatever, it's just like you're reminded why, or how AI can actually solve a lot of that kind of clunkiness. So yeah, I was reminded of that again this morning, man.
On this AI Wayfinder, it was kind of interesting because you see all these like kind of little niche things that can be done that you don't even realize. This one prompt says swap all the small tokens on base chain for WBTC, excluding MXNBC, I guess, is a token. And then it just swaps all of the like kind of dust in this wallet for WBTC, which is pretty cool, right? That's nice. And then these other ones as well of, just basically swapping and bridging and so on and so forth. So it does seem like there's a handful of teams who are all kind of building towards the same thing inside of different directions. And we'll see how fast that comes. But overall, I think
that's AI sector is like so underrated still. The crypto AI sector is so under the radar. So
totally, bro.
It's really incredible. I mean, Grok 3 just came out. I was messing with it last night. I didn't really think that it was as powerful as it was. I use ChatGPT 01 all the time. There's response times are maybe 15 seconds, 20 seconds. Grok 3 is immediate.
Dude, it's blazing, isn't it? It's
incredible
blazing.
how fast it is. And so their GPU stack is unmatched. They have the biggest GPU stack of anyone in the world. But I mean, just the week over week improvements of all of these systems is like unparalleled to anything that I've ever seen. And the fact that they're self-learning and the infinite loop that they're going through is unbelievable. So where we are today, a month ago from where we were from a month ago is like night and day difference. And so doesn't mean we're heading to AGI or ASI, something like that. I didn't think that we had the GPUs to do it. I didn't think that we had the energy consumption to do it. But I mean, the whole world is moving mountains to get there. And so where are we going to be in a year or 2 years from now? We're not even going to recognize this place anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's why my initial gut would be like, oh, AI and the kind of intelligence layer. Well, that's, maybe it's next cycle, right? This is like the first cycle of it. And then next cycle, it like really hits. But with the speed it's happening, like it just feels like it's going to be this year. You know what I mean? And that's just really, really exciting. I'm excited to be in Denver because I know a bunch of teams are going to be there and just really connect with what's happening and see what's being built and stuff. It feels like still feels like it's definitely going to be this cycle. Stuff's happening so fast.
Yes, sir. So as we were talking and scrolling, going back to KAITO, I came across this post of the Jeter leaderboard.
Jeter.
What's his name?
Incredible.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. So the top seller, whoever medium dex trade, maybe that's medium dex trade. I don't know who that is. Sold 559,000. KAITO is the biggest. Whoever
is that a team member? Who is that?
Maybe Zoomer Boomer on OpenSea. I don't know how Ansem is indexing these wallet labels, but Ansem sold 215,000. Looks like he only sold about half of everything. And then you have Satoshi Monkey. Looks like Saucel, which is like the ETH bull. ICO Beast sold about 150,000. And Bread Guy got cashed out a little bit as well, dude. Good for them. It's cool to see that not everyone just completely dumped the entire thing. It's kind of cool to see people kind of still believing in it a little bit, right? Believe in something. Although there are a bunch of people here, you could see like the volume out. There are a bunch of people who did sell everything. But at the end of the day, you got to remember that an airdrop is literally a marketing tool. So never shame people for doing that. And one other thing that I wanted to bring up that I thought was interesting, I didn't get to dive too much into this, but kept popping up on my timeline. I didn't really see that many people talking about this either, is that Hyper EVM launched yesterday. I guess it's like the EVM sector of Hyperliquid. And what I was reading about it, again, I don't know like the total thing about it, is I guess it's just bringing kind of the on-chain DeFi ecosystem to Hyperliquid of EVM, things like staking and lending and some of these other protocols. And so it sounds like they're trying to really go for the throat for these centralized exchanges and just completely bring everything on chain and build this kind of all-in-one on-chain casino for anything that you need. So it says Hyper EVM dropped on the 18th. And it was being funneled into the already Hyperliquid platform. It says that it's a hybrid infrastructure that combines BTC and EVM capabilities. I think this is how they were doing the spot BTC trading. Maintains core perps dominance while expanding the DeFi reach. Launched during a weakness. This is a AIXBT kind of summary as well. And the platform's evolving to become something more than just kind of your regular layer one. Chris, you're a little bit more on the trader side of us. Do you use Hyperliquid at all? And you think Hyperliquid can actually come and take out Binance and some of these other exchanges?
I don't know. I'm a bit weary. Like it claims to be a DEX. I've used it before, but they have like 3 nodes. It's like the typical will decentralize in time. But I mean, it has serious traction. You can't argue with the traction that it's had. How many DEXs have there been that have come and gone, quote unquote DEXs, right? Is it going to be the winner? Maybe the timing is right for it. But I mean, I think what it's doing is it's taking the place of FTX is the best way to kind of describe it. There was a huge hole in, what FTX was, and they would list new coins instantly. The coin would hit the market, it would be on FTX the next day. And, Binance obviously wasn't doing that this cycle. Regulatory pressures kind of eased everyone else off, but they stepped in, they claim to be a DEX, and that's what they're doing. So they're running a playbook that's been done before. Hopefully they do it without $30 billion in fraud, and maybe they'll have a chance to succeed.
Adam, I know you're not much of a trader, but are you bullish or bearish on Hyperliquid?
Honestly, I've never even been on. I have no idea what it is. I mean, I've heard about it, of course, but I don't. What am I doing there, man? I don't do shit.
So it looks like Hyper EVM they're running like a dual blockchain ecosystem of some sort where there's a faster block and a slower block, almost kind of like how Stacks is on top of Bitcoin, in a sense. It looks like, I don't know, there's still some technical things that I have to look into this. But
I don't really like when they kind of do all these kind of opaque, random explanations of how it works, but it might not work like that, but maybe it does. And I feel like it's like intended to kind of confuse the end user a lot of times, or make it seem like their tech stack is a lot more high profile than it is. And it's like, we just want to see how many nodes you're running. We want to see who the operators are and things of that nature, but you don't get any of that. You just get this kind of gibberish of we're running this extreme tech stack, and no one's actually looking through their documents, right? So not really a slight against them. It just they're acting more transparent than they actually are, and I think that that's kind of nefarious in a way.
Yeah,
Head on a swivel, man. Yep.
head on a swivel.
Careful.
That's it.
So ETH Denver, guys, are you guys excited?
Yeah.
I went to ETH Denver last year and hosted the BTC Denver kind of party house, which was kind of crazy. And as I'm looking at all these different events, I'm noticing that it's not just really about ETH Denver. I see there's a bunch more Bitcoin events. There's a bunch of satellite events for all these other chains. Even ETH Denver is allowing non-Ethereum presentations to happen. Like what is the point of ETH Denver? Is this just like is it a develop? I know it's a little bit more forward for developers in a sense, right? It actually starts in 3 days in the last 8 days, and there's a lot of hackathons and things like that. But what's your take on just the overall conference circuit that's about to go into this year, starting with ETH Denver? I guess it kind of really kicks off the conference circuit, where we're kind of in this gray area of, is it a bull market? It's a bear market. All the altcoins are down horrendously. Bitcoin, if you're holding Bitcoin, you've been doing fine this time. Everyone else, pretty low sentiment. Builders aren't getting funded. What is the... Do you think that the conferences this year will have an impact on the overall sentiment because it is low, because it is quite low? That things can maybe get funded, or maybe people can find some meaning and touch grass and maybe even meet a friend or two for once in their life.
I think that's always the big thing, right? It's like just seeing people in real life. I already got hit up by a couple, different people who I've never met in real life, but like, oh, you're coming to Denver, let's hook up and stuff. I think that's always bullish. Like I always feel good about that. Maybe we'll see Vitalik, on stage singing a stupid song with Song a Day guy. That's always fun. ETH price will probably drop. But for me, always the in-person stuff is always the best. I'm really looking forward to obviously us all getting together, getting to meet the teams from, people we work with, the Lit Protocol guys and stuff is just going to be fun. I feel like we're going to feel, I'm at a low right now as far as like, Jesus, man, why are me even in crypto? But it's like, I know meeting people in real life will get me bullish again. So I'm psyched for it.
That's a good take. I mean, it's always good to, feel that everything's so digital. So it's nice to get a sense of reality, right? And with ETH Denver, I think that it's actually a good strategy. They're making sure that they stay, in the mainstream mind share. If it was just an Ethereum conference with no one else allowed, does anyone care about that at the moment? So they're making sure that they stay relevant. And within doing that, they can kind of see what aspects of the entire industry people are most interested in. So I think it's kind of good research and development for them. I'm really rooting for them. This is a good time for them to shine. I mean, if there's ever an opportunity for a comeback for Ethereum, I mean, it's when Solana is having all these issues, right? And they have a lot of stuff that they need to work on as well. So I think the timing's pretty good for it. It was a huge success last year. Jake had a good time. He met a bunch of, it was huge on ordinals last year. Looks like they're going to run back that same playbook, and I think it's going to be a good thing for them. I'm excited for it.
I was listening to a conversation this morning on a different show, and they're talking about with kind of everything that's happening with Solana, and now kind of with ETH Denver and some of these other like layer ones and L2s popping up. Do you think that the attention actually moves to some of these other chains? Do you think there can be a breakout candidate, something like a mega ETH or a Barachain or a Monad just has their testnet is live? I think there's maybe one or two other chains out there. Do you think there's a possibility that an alt L1 or L2 can pull some of that attention away, and actually find some stable success to maybe be, whatever the Solana competitor is next cycle?
Man, it doesn't feel like it to me. It feels like Solana was the winner this cycle. For something else to come up and really take its lunch or do something different, it's just really hard. really fucking, I mean, we've talked about it a million times. It's like Pump Fun is like it's a unicorn, like really, really difficult to do that. OpenSea was the same in 21. Like it's just really, really hard to do that. Not to say it can't happen. It could happen, but it seems unlikely, you know? I don't know. I saw a thing. Was on a show yesterday with like, I don't know, AVAX, you know, Pio and them had an AVAX show because AVAX is apparently is going to be the gaming L1. You know, could that happen? Like it could happen, dude. If GTA tomorrow came out and said, actually, we're doing our token on AVAX, fuck, you know, it's game on. It could happen. I just don't, it doesn't, you know, it's really hard to get something with that kind of traction. So, you know, it could, but you know, we just got to keep our eyes peeled for the next thing, what the next thing is.
I do see all of the competitors are just touting higher throughput, more speed, million transactions a second. Do we need something that's even faster than Solana, or could an all L1 be something more like a bit tensor, where it's like something that's more AI focused with subnets, or even something else that maybe we haven't thought about? And Chris, what do you think? Do you think there's a room for a faster Solana competitor?
Yeah, I mean, if you want a social media kind of platform, something like Twitter, you need even faster TPS than Solana has. But I think that would be more bullish for the layer 2 stack. I mean, if Ethereum can put all of their layer 2s out of business overnight. If they launch an official Ethereum layer 2 that runs on ETH gas and only ETH gas, and that's the sanctioned place that you want to build. So overnight, they can kind of upend themselves, and maybe that's in their roadmap. I'm not sure. But I just think that Ethereum has so much market penetration. They're true innovators at their core. It's technology. You're going to go through hiccups and speed bumps. It's not a straight path to infinity. And so, you know, I actually think that they're probably positioned pretty good for whatever the next stage of the cycle is. You know, Coinbase is doing really well. Base Chain is doing really well. Ethereum is what everyone wants. No one wants Arbitrum. No one wants Optimism. No one wants ZK, right? Everyone wants Ethereum, and they want Ethereum to go faster, and they want it to do it cheaper. So if they had a single sanctioned Ethereum layer 2 that was made by the Ethereum Foundation that had faster TBS and all of this, that kind of ends the case for all these additional layer 2s and all of their abstraction that they're kind of, you know, all the bear cases against Ethereum that they're not actually using Ethereum gas or kind of initiating the Ethereum token. So, you know, I just think that we have to give Vitalik a little bit to cook here. He's seen the vision. It's really close to playing out, and Solana's going through its, you know, biggest hiccup since the FTX collapse. So we'll see if he can kind of capitalize on it. But I think they're in a much better position than the industry gives them credit for.
Agreed.
Yeah, Vitalik has discussed ad nauseum a lot about building non-financialized products. So he's hammered on social media he was talking about it in 2017, right? Private messaging, like with status. He was like a big status guy for a long time. Maybe that is finally this turn now, because NFTs have gone through their cycle, meme coins have gone through the cycle, you know, crowdfunding and ICOs have gone through cycle. It's like, what other kind of financialized products
Infinite, bro.
create?
It's
infinite. I guess if Wall Street enters, then they'll just cook up with whatever they need.
It's literally infinite, and it's almost like I'm almost of the belief that the chain doesn't even necessarily matter. It's the app, the killer app is the hard thing. There's chains that can handle almost anything now. It's just like, you know, what would, I don't know, Optimism pay to have like the next pumped up fund, whatever that may be. Maybe it's a social app, maybe it's gaming app, whatever. It's like the app is the thing. It's like that's the thing that moves the needle. And until we get that, it doesn't, you know, all these other chains, Sui, and I mean, you know, we've seen them pop up already, even in this cycle. They've kind of had these little mini bulls. But until you get the killer app, it doesn't even, we're just bouncing around.
You look at the popular apps that have saved the chains. For Solana, you had Pump Fun was the breakout. On Polygon, you have Polymarket, right? The betting application. I think there's one or two other ones out there that are popularly used, and it doesn't even matter what the chain's on. People don't really care. It
Don't
does
care.
save the chain. Yeah, it
They
is
really
kind of the app layer. Just one app can really just bring the chain to stability.
I mean, it's amazing, like Pump Fun, like how much it's made for all these other players, right? It's incredible the amount of money that's been generated just on Solana for all different sorts of teams, not just for Pump Fun, and for crime as well. But like realistically though, like how, I mean, and obviously you have to have all these things like we've talked about before. Yeah, the wallet has to be right, the infrastructure has to be right, the dexes have to be, all that stuff has to come in line to set it up for the right app to happen. But when all that shit's in a row, and maybe it is, maybe it's gaming on AVAX or who the fuck knows. But crypto's never been in a better position for somebody who wants to build one of these cool apps to actually do it. It's just you can pick where you want to play, and so that's exciting for sure.
I got to give it to Avalanche, dude. Those guys have pivoted 4,000 times.
Have
to
they
try to
really?
see what fits? I mean, they were. I think weren't they 2017 ICO?
I think so.
Yes,
Yeah.
right, weren't they?
Yeah.
They tried to go through the NFT thing. They tried to go through the meme coin thing. They tried to do the SocialFi thing, right? They've
been trying to do gaming forever though, but we'll see if it plays out for them.
Yeah, it's still early.
Kind of like you talked about. I mean, with these AIs, you can see it in any product around the globe. They're getting commoditized. Look at the AIs. The LLMs are getting commoditized. You talked about a proto distribution or a power law. You have Grok, you have OpenAI, maybe you have Llama 3, and then that's pretty much it, right? Maybe some Anthropic. And then with blockchains, you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. It's hard to get past that critical mass. Ethereum's in probably the roughest spot from a sentiment wise than it's been since its inception, probably. Maybe when it was $80 in like 2018 or something like that, it was pretty rough. But even today, it's 4 times the market cap than Solana is, its biggest competitor. So, I mean, Ethereum's 400% bigger than Solana, even on its worst day in the last almost decade. Yeah. So the sentiment is pretty overblown for where we are in reality. And it's easy to get caught up in these day-to-day narratives. But, it seems that block space is going to get commoditized away. It's hard to beat Ethereum at this pace. What's going to kind of abrupt its trajectory? I'm not entirely sure, but I'm bullish on Ethereum. I'm bullish on Solana, and I'm bullish on Bitcoin. And maybe we'll have some new chains come in and take the prize, but it's really difficult at this point in time.
Yeah. Yep. Network effects, man. They govern crypto to a T. Well, guys, man, I'm excited to spend next week with you in ETH Denver. I don't know if we're going to do a show or not. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. Definitely on Tuesday we won't. So maybe we'll do a show from Denver here on next Wednesday or Thursday. We'll definitely keep everyone updated. But I know there is going to be a ton of people out there. Really excited. Appreciate everyone for joining us. Always make sure that you're following the Emblem account and the Agent Hustle account so that you can stay up to date with everything that we're doing. Devs are still cooking on the AI product. Our audit is almost done so that we can finally launch Emblem 2.0 and this bulk minting tool that Bunzy's been working on so hard that we can mint many, many vaults. Until then, everyone, enjoy your Thursday. Have a safe weekend. If you're out in ETH Denver, hit us up, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.